when I think about making content for EVE Online, it can seem pretty obvious, right? We have the partner program, we have exclusive skins if you're streaming or if you're sharing content in that way. You also can build your community and get exclusive benefits. We get to communicate in a unique way with the devs, and we have this huge open sandbox of a world that we get to explore. It's amazing, and anything can happen. In this moment, I'm just running a quick mission as I reflect on that. But yeah, it's really amazing. But I don't think that that's necessarily all of the reason that I decide to record and to share some of the stories of this time in space. Um, when I think about why I make content for Eve, I don't really think about the benefits as much as I think about some of the challenges, both personally and in terms of technically learning how to do it. Trying to turn a very complex game into something interesting and maybe even something watchable, although I'm not sure how much that is. But I make the content because I'm learning how to do it. I'm learning how to set it up, to even get the software needed to record my screen, to boot up OBS, but first to go and find it and figure out which software you want to use, set up the capture for the window, and you know, basically trying to get the whole setup done was a great learning experience of what needs to be looked at in order to make content. And then comes the issue of trying to film Eve content. If we turn here just to give a little view, you can see firing off into space, and after these, of course, my computer also wasn't so happy about the idea of playing and recording at the same time. So that's all been pretty interesting, pretty exciting to learn how it works. Um, then came the issue of learning how to record the UI. How do I zoom in? What parts do I want to share? What don't I want to share to avoid getting ganked? It really became kind of like, do I turn up my settings all the way? And you can see now in this video that with the recording software, it's chugging along, trying to keep up. Or do I pick a more balanced kind of shot? But here we've got a beautiful cinematic shot. The UI is hidden. And I have no idea what's really happening in the fight. I have my fire and forget missiles on, and and off they go. But of course, I've wanted to learn how to do that, how to separate audio tracks so that Discord comms and mumble doesn't drown out the game sound, or my own voice can be the primary. It's quite difficult to find a way to make that content and to also comply with OPSEC and with the requirements from your corp mates, where you don't want to put them at risk either. So once you get all of that and you capture the audio and you capture the visuals, then of course you need to figure out what you want to say and what you want to show. And of course the visuals in Eve are gorgeous. This is a Golem, and it's taking on a security mission. But you have to learn how to script and how to decide what you want to say. There's the time of jumping gates, the warping, which are beautiful now animations, but there's also the combat and what is it like to run a site. So learning to write that script meant learning how to translate that, to strip away all of the jargon and to try and find the human element, and to try and share some of that about what my own goals have been. what I want to see myself accomplish in the game. And of course, there's always that feeling of an imposter syndrome, thinking, well, nobody is going to care about this. So you have to dig deep to find the narrative arc in the sandbox, but also in yourself. And when you choose to make content, you also choose to be vulnerable in yourself, in sharing something and seeing what people might think of it. Luckily for me, there's not that many people that are watching. But it's pretty fun, and I like it. It's something that's been a really interesting adventure, and that's why I'm creating content for Eve. So, when I think about why create content, why record, why tell stories, why share my own goals, the exhilarating feeling of sitting in a capital for the first time, undocking my Archon, my Amar carrier, and learning the kind of way that it runs was fantastic. I mean, this was something I had wanted to do for years, and then finally managed to do. And it was so nice to be able to share that and to capture that and have that, as a moment. And that's also part of why I want to make content and continue to make content for Eve. When you manage to capture those moments, it's pretty neat. It's kind of like lightning in a bottle. It's no feeling like it in the world, even if you kind of tighten up and your shoulders go up when you have to listen to your own voice back. But that's it, It's about figuring out how to do it, the challenge, and going through and, discovering what it means to me to play this game and to tell stories. And here we're going to move. And I think that now I've got to pay a bit more attention to the site. But it's pretty nice, Content creation in Eve isn't just about sharing the game. It's not just about recording your screen, sometimes your scream. It depends on how that fleet is going. But it's a mirror that reflects your patience, your creativity, and your own curiosity. So every time I hit upload, it's sharing a little part of my experience in the game. And I hope that it's something interesting for others to watch and to think about.